All right, so in this session today, we are talking about body slimming. Okay, so how to lose the excess fat in the body using Healy and the MAGHEALY programs. Now, sometimes we appear big, not because of fat accumulation, but because of water retention. That means the body has dampness, it's too wet. So we are also going to talk about how to reduce water retention using the Healy and MAGHEALY programs. And of course, the last one is when you are too stressed, overstressed. Okay, it can also lead to indirectly various psychological reasons that we can also gain weight very, very fast. All right, so yes, so I will also highlight some of the Healy and MAGHEALY programs that you can use to harmonize this area of your life. Okay, now what is too heavy? All right, so how do you know you are having normal weight or overweight or underweight? So the healthy weight that we are talking about is the body mass index. All right, so there are apps these days where you can just key in your height and your weight, and then they will give you a number. Okay, this number that you see over here, whether you are 18, 25, etc., that will tell you, okay, whether you have healthy weight based on the average of a much bigger population. Okay, now, many of us say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. So here, I want to make a bit of correction, all right, that it is not the weight that we are after, okay? Because sometimes people will say that the more I do my diet or I become heavier, the more I use Healy, my weight increase. So is that good or bad? So there is good weight. So when you use Healy, for some of us, our weight increase. But I hope it is good weight that is increasing. Now, muscle and your bone make up 40 to 60% of your body mass. Now, this is good weight that you must have. Okay, so as you use Healy, if your bone density is increasing, you will find that your weight would increase. So that's a good sign. And for those of us who are losing muscle mass, sarcopenia, so our muscles here become flabby and jiggly and all that, right? So when you use, let's say, a fitness program, you will find that you will put on muscle mass. So your weight will increase, but that is good weight. All right. Now the rest of the good weight will be that of your soft tissue and fluids, your blood, your lymphatic fluid. So this will contribute some mass. And then soft tissues refers to your brain, refers to your lungs, your heart, all your internal organs. That will be your soft tissue. So that accounts for another 40 to 50% of your body mass. So the excess weight that we do not want, that I'm talking about today, that we want to lose, is actually the excess fats and water. Okay, excess fat and water, so that account for about 10 to 20% of average body mass. Okay, so we'll start with how to lose excess fats. Now, where are these excess fats? Okay, now some fat are good fat, so we want them, which is immediately below your skin. We call this the subcutaneous fat, and this is good fat. If you don't have the subcutaneous fat, the one that is directly under your skin, then you can actually see what? You can see the bone. You can see the shape of the bone. You know, people say that they are left with just skin and bones, right? Yeah, because why? The fats are no longer underneath. Okay or not? So it makes the person look very scrawny and skinny. Okay, now the subcutaneous fat is necessary to um, keep us warm. Okay, retain some of your body fat, body temperature, so that you don't feel cold. Okay, yeah, so it is good fat. Now, the bad fat is the excess visceral fat, or sometimes we call it belly fat or abdominal fat. So we do have some naturally around the hearts, around the uh, internal organs, but that is to cushion the internal organs, the soft tissue from impact and shock. Okay, but if we overeat, these excess calorie will then be deposited over it. I'll show you horrendous pictures. Okay, yeah, to see what is inside, because we can't see inside. Yeah, the inside. Okay, so in general, these are the 5 programs that you can use to help in losing fats. Now you see, of the 5 here, 3 of them are liver, liver, liver. Okay, so your liver function is very important, because the liver metabolize your sugars, your proteins, as well as your fats. Okay or not? So if your liver function is declining or not optimum, you will tend to store fats, okay? Or you will not be able to use your nourishment properly. Okay, yeah, so we have to take care of the liver. So remember that, fat and liver. So yeah, because otherwise the fat in the liver, if you don't use, becomes fatty liver. Okay, yeah, so that is not a good sign. Now in bioenergetic harmony, you have the liver program, and then meridians, you have the MAGHEALY meridian liver, you have the Healy liver meridian, and then in Healy you have another one which is fatty degeneration. Okay, yeah, so this would include a few other organs that are all involved in metabolism. Okay, and then if you have MAGHEALY obsidian, you would have the McMakin Plus, where this one here talks about balancing your weight. Okay, so these are the 5 that you can use overall to lose fats. Okay, now this is the first horror picture. All right, to look at the blood vessel. Sometimes people can look very thin and slender, but when they go and measure their cholesterol, measure their fats, it is higher than expected. Okay, so the fats, where are they? They are inside, they are not seen. Okay, so your blood vessels, a good one will be this type here, this one here. You see, the hole is so big. This is a very clean blood vessel, so nice. Okay, so this one here, these 2 here is also very nice. So you see that the wall is thick, elastic, without the fats. Okay, so when you do the watch analysis, watch DN and watch program, you will see rigidity. Okay, so when you see rigidity, it could mean either one of this. Either the heart is strangled by a lot of fatty deposits on the surface that it cannot move very much. So that is rigidity. All right, so it will affect your ventricular ejection, how much blood it can actually pump out, because the wall becomes rigid, okay, not contractile. Now, the other rigidity is referring to your blood vessels, okay, because the blood vessel is supposed to have collagen and elastic fibers so that it is like a rubber band that can stretch and then recoil, stretch and recoil to move your blood along and to maintain your blood pressure. Okay, so if your blood pressure is too high, okay, a lot of people like to ask me which program for high blood pressure is a complex thing. It all depends. Okay, if your blood vessels is hard, the fluid, right, when it passes through cannot extend the blood vessels, so you have hypertension. So it could be fatty deposits, it could be calcification that harden the wall. Okay, so you have to see what comes out. Sometimes it's too much fluid because of water retention. So there's so many reasons, okay, that could contribute to hypertension. Okay, so now if you want to clean up and allow smooth flow of blood in your blood vessels, you can see this one here is 90% blocked. All right, only a tiny little hole left. Yeah, so you would use fatty degeneration to break down fats. There are many circulation program. You can use all of this circulation program, or it gives you choices because you have different Healy devices. So you may not have some of the programs, you may have all of the programs. If you have all, use all. Okay, so this first one here, general circulation, is in cell wave. And then the yellow one is in fitness. And then this one here is meridian circulation. And then this is harmony, bioenergetic harmony circulation. This is deep cycle free flow. Okay, so you can use all this to support the heart and the blood vessel function. Okay, now let's come to the liver. This has become increasingly common, okay, partly because of increased alcohol intake. Nowadays, the alcohol does not just come in hard liquor, or beer. It comes in small amounts in all those fanciful drinks, Yeah, so we do consume alcohol, and it harms the liver because the liver is the only organ that will break down toxins, okay, or alcohol. So therefore, it will overwhelm the liver, okay, and stress the liver. Okay, so over time, over an extended period, it can lead to liver failure, liver cirrhosis, fatty liver, etc. Okay, so to protect and support your liver, these are the programs that you can use: fatty degeneration, meridian liver. This is another MAGHEALY, meridian liver, harmony liver. Impurities here is to break down the fats, the toxins, heavy metals, etc., to clean up the liver. Okay, pure gold cycle and deep cycle clean all. Okay, so when it comes to impurities, what kind of impurities do you think can harm the liver? All this that comes from our food, the pesticides, plastics, melted plastics, dissolved plastics, and then cosmetics, fragrances that we use, industrial chemicals, okay, and then toxins from fungus, viruses, bacteria. All this is the main job of the liver to detoxify. Okay, now the next part is, okay, while we strengthen the function of the liver, the next part we want to strengthen the function of every single cell in the body. All right, which is what we call the basal metabolic rate. So the basal metabolic rate is how much energy that the cells in your body would need in order to maintain your body temperature and maintain all the basic functions of your body when you are inactive, when you're sleeping or when you're just sitting here and listening to me, all right, relatively inactive. So that is called the basal metabolic rate, all right. Then if we exercise or do anything strenuous, it is on top of that. Okay, so most of the time actually we are just burning the basic only. So if we, as we age, we know that our metabolic rate slows down, correct or not? So now is, if we want to lose fats, okay, it is to tell ourselves to use more, okay, to be more active. So how are we going to do that? Okay, so the thyroid gland. Where is the thyroid gland? So at your neck here, if you were to stretch your neck, you will be able to feel a little small little bulge here by the side. Okay, so that is your thyroid gland. Okay, a butterfly shaped thing. I'll let you listen to a video.
The thyroid, a small butterfly-shaped gland resting at the front of the neck, quietly controlling the body's pace. It does not create energy. It decides how fast energy is used. Through hormones released into the bloodstream, the thyroid sets metabolic rhythm, how quickly cells convert fuel, how warm the body stays, and how fast systems respond. When thyroid activity increases, the body accelerates, heart rate rises, heat production increases. Thoughts move faster. Energy feels readily available. When activity slows, everything follows. Metabolism drops, fatigue appears. Cold is felt more deeply. The body conserves. This regulation is constant. Minute adjustments made without awareness, keeping internal speed aligned with the mind. The thyroid listens closely to signals from the brain and feedback from the body. Too much volume and systems strain. Too little and function drops. Its influence reaches everywhere: muscle, brain, heart, skin, and bone. No cell escapes its timing. The thyroid does not command movement or generate force. It sets tempo, a silent regulator keeping the body in rhythm, ensuring life moves neither too fast nor too slow. A reminder that balance is not stillness, but controlled motion, maintained quietly every second of the day.
Yeah, all right, so that is the thyroid gland. It is a hormonal gland, okay, that controls the function of other organs. Okay, so the activity is not here. The activity here is only to produce this one, all right, T3, T4. These two are called thyroid hormones that are responsible for metabolism. Now, the activity of your thyroid gland is actually controlled by this part of the brain, the inner brain. Okay, the inner brain, where the thalamus, near the thalamus, there is a hypothalamus, and then this small little things that is dangling down. So that is called the pituitary gland. So the pituitary gland will produce a thyroid stimulating hormone, and then it will tell the thyroid when to produce the thyroid hormone. So sometimes you may be given learning programs, okay, or brain programs, okay, because of the function of those parts of the brain. Okay, so the thyroid hormones TT34, they are master metabolic regulators. That means they will tell the other cells how much to metabolize. Okay, now, all right, so they will determine your basal metabolic rate. That means we want to raise our basal metabolic rate so that our calorie can be used up more. Thermogenesis here is referring to brown fats. Brown fat is actually long-term storage. It goes into reserves, and these reserves you will never touch. Okay, it's like your fixed deposit. As long as you have cash, you will never touch your fixed deposit. Okay, so it will regulate and tell your fat cells or adipocytes to store more fats or to release fats. So that's why they are the regulators. So your thyroid function is very important. Okay, so that means they control your use of calorie. You know, we use our mind to go and calculate the calorie. It's not that. You can calculate all you want, but the controller ultimately is thyroid. You can eat very little. Okay, you think that you will use it up, but your thyroid will say keep everything. Okay, store. So even if you eat very little, you'll find that you can still grow fat. You see or not? All right, if you do not know or understand the language of the body, you speak the wrong language, and then they do not obey your command, although you are the master. Okay or not? So the thyroid hormones regulate your sugar, your fat uses. Okay, it will tell the cell use sugar or use fat for your energy. Okay, so for those who have hypo, so when you talk about gaining weight or gaining fat, is people who have underactive thyroid or hypothyroidism. Okay, if you have hyperthyroidism, you overproduce those hormones, right? Then the person tends to be thinner. Okay, so but when it is under hypo, then you will have this issue. Okay, so as I mentioned, protect your liver and then protect your pancreas. Okay, spleen, pancreas. Pancreas is because of insulin and glucagon production. All right, so yeah, so you have to use these programs. So meridian, spleen, pancreas. Okay, so if not, you can use gastrointestinal under harmony. So that includes everything, all right? Gastrointestinal. Okay, now, so besides the hormones, now we talk about which part of the cell is the one responsible for metabolism, all right? The energy powerhouse inside the cell. Okay, so thyroid will only tell the cells what to do. Okay, raise your metabolism. But within the cell, the machinery that is directly responsible for energy production is here. This peanut looking thing, all right, this is called the mitochondria. All right, now as we age, why is it that you feel tired more easily? Because of mitochondrial dysfunction. All right, so the mitochondria get damaged and therefore they do not function as well. Every cell on average will have 20 to 30 of these mitochondria. Okay, in your heart cells, in your brain cells, you can have 1,000 to 2,000 of these mitochondria because of high energy consumption. Okay, so in all the other normal cells, you have 20 to 30. As you age, right, more and more of them starts to lose their function. Okay, so in the end, you might end up with only 10 or 5 per cell that is functioning. So you will feel more and more tired, not enough energy. All right. So if you want to increase your metabolic rate, if you want to feel alert, it is here, mitochondria. Because the mitochondria will convert your glucose and your fats or triglycerides to energy. And cellular energy is what we call ATP. Okay, so use programs that support your entire cell. For example, cell care in Cell Wave, cell harmony in Classic, MAGHEALY, and then cell harmony or even youth, YOUTH, in bioenergetic vitalization. Okay, so these are programs that will support the entire cell. Okay, so the metabolic reactions is very, very complex. Okay, what you're seeing here is not the entire thing. What you're seeing here is only probably 70% of the actual metabolic pathway that the cell is involved in. Okay, especially in the liver, it becomes very, 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 very complicated. Okay, so how to actually make the corrections? It's very difficult, okay, to identify which part went wrong. And if one part went wrong, the rest can be thrown out of order. Okay, now for energy production, besides giving them the glucose, okay, there must be enzymes and there must be vitamins. Vitamins are enzyme helpers, so they help the enzymes to work better. Okay, all right, so it's not just exercise. You think that you can lose excess fat by exercising. Okay, then there will be no fat people on this earth already, because many of us are exercising but the scale needle is not moving, it's not going to budge, right? So because why? You are doing the right thing in action, but the cell is not cooperating with you. Okay, so you end up not burning fats, but you just use up to your glucose only. Okay, so here, vitamin B, you either take your vitamin B supplements if you prefer that. The other way is to use digital nutrition, either vitamin intake. Vitamin intake here will be the balance A, B, C, D, E, K. All right. And then if you only want vitamin B complex, it will be the other one, B complex. B1, 2, 3, 5, 6. This is to consume more glucose. Okay, 2, 3, 5, 7, 12 help the enzymes to consume, burn your fats. Okay, B6 and 7 is to consume your excess proteins. Okay, so you need vitamin B. Plus hormones. You need the hormones to coordinate the different organs, yeah, to work together. So at a glance, these are some of the important hormonal glands or endocrine glands and how are they involved. Okay, now leptin. So these are hormones to signal to you that you are full. All right, so whether you feel full or hungry, the body will tell you. Okay, yeah. So leptin. Leptin is actually produced by fat cells. Okay, when leptin is high, you don't feel hungry, and then it will increase your energy expenditure. Okay, so to lose fats is this one, leptin. We want high leptin. Okay, so it will give you the feeling of satiety, means you feel full, so that you don't have the urge to snack, to eat. Then the stomach also produce hormones by the gut cells, peptide, YY, and GLP-1. Okay, so when you have high amount of this, you feel full, and then it brings down your appetite. Now, ghrelin is opposite. Ghrelin will actually make you feel hungry and increase your appetite. Okay, so if there is an imbalance, then okay, you feel hungry all the time. Okay, even though you are eating enough. Okay, yeah. So that is to control your hunger. You need to have that hormonal balance. All right. Then fat storage. These are hormones that tell your abdominal cells, the fat cells, to actually pick up, absorb the sugars and turn them into fats. Neuropeptide Y. And sometimes you may see nerve programs appearing and you may not know why. All right, so if you see nerve program together with combinations of endocrine glands, yeah, so you know that this one. Now, under stress, when your brain is under chronic stress, it will release neuropeptide Y, and this will actually increase your appetite. So when we talk about stress eating, right, when you are stressful, you will grab your snacks, unhealthy snacks, and then your potato chips, and then you will be chomping away your chocolates, all that, right? So it's because of your chemicals in the body that actually tells you what to do. Okay, so we are very, very obedient. Okay, so another one, under stress, cortisol that is produced by your adrenal glands will also increase your appetite, make you eat more, make you snack, and increase your fat storage. Adiponectin is the good one, you know. Okay, it's the good one. Adiponectin is produced by your fat cells. It gives you the feeling of fullness. Okay, and then if the level of adiponectin is low, it will increase your fat store. Okay, so you want high adiponectin, you want low stress hormones, and then your insulin. Okay, insulin is produced when your blood sugar spike. So it tells your liver, skeletal muscles, and many of the cells in the body to actually start to absorb the glucose, and then it will tell the fat cells to increase fat storage. Okay, so you do not want too much insulin. But if you have over time becomes insensitive to insulin, then your body, your pancreas will boost the production of insulin. So when that happens, you will find that even if you breathe air, okay, you will also put on weight. You will find that, okay, I don't eat, I'm fasting, I eat so little, and how come I'm still becoming fat? Yeah, so it's because of hormonal imbalance. So it will affect your metabolic rate, it will affect your eating habits, your eating behavior. Okay, then where to put all these fats? Okay, the placement, the fat distribution, okay, is controlled by all this. So thyroid, low thyroid will cause you to gain fats generally in your body. Lack of sleep, if you don't sleep very well at night, or if you don't sleep properly, not enough, then what happens is it is going to disrupt your hunger hormone, the ghrelin, cause you to feel hungry, leptin. So that's why under stress, when you don't sleep properly, you will tend to eat either or snack uncontrollably, or you will eat larger portion. Okay, yeah. Then where to put all these fats? It is the testosterone and the estrogen. Okay, so the level of estrogen, testosterone. So if your testosterone is too low, you will gain fat. Okay, and then you will lose muscle. So testosterone here is present in both male and female. So that's why for female, sometimes you will get what? Sometimes you will get prostate, you will get kidney male, or you will get potency. You wonder why? Because there is imbalance in your testosterone, either too much or too little. Okay, so men also, sometimes you will get ovary, kidney female, mature women, okay, because of imbalance between the ratio of testosterone and estrogen. Okay, so too much estrogen, okay, is also no good. Too little will cause you to to cause you to have belly. All right, too low, low of both. That means menopause, when you have low of estrogen, you see you start to put on weight in the middle section. Okay, for for testosterone, too low also will cause you to gain fats instead of muscle. Okay, now to energize all these endocrine organs, you can use your chakra. Okay, so sometimes you'll find certain chakras appearing, so you can use the chakra according to their respective position. So crown, third eye will be for the pineal pituitary. Okay, throat is for thyroid, and then throat heart is for your thymus. We didn't talk about thymus today because nothing to do with your metabolism. And then your solar plexus and sacral. Solar plexus is more for your adrenal and pancreas. Sacral is for your ovary, and root will be for your testis that produces the testosterone. Okay, so all 7 chakras to harmonize your endocrine glands. Okay, now the meridians are also very important. Okay, so kidney meridian, stomach meridians, okay, because of the ghrelin, all that is produced by the stomach, insulin, glucagon by the spleen, pancreas, okay, yeah. Then hormonal programs, this is digital nutrition. Then this is the meridian hormonal balance, and this is the harmony hormonal balance. Okay, so you can use programs like this to just balance up all your different types of hormones, because sometimes it's too complex unless you know through your blood test exactly which hormones is out of balance. Then you can follow your blood test reports, okay, to support the respective endocrine glands. If you do not know, then just use the hormone or hormonal programs to let them detect which is the one that needs the support. Okay, now the next one is actually the microbiome, probiotics in the large intestine. Okay, the bulk of it is actually found in the large intestine. So you can use friendly flora, or you can use bacterial harmony. Okay, so bacterial harmony will balance the bad bacteria and the good bacteria. Friendly flora is more to support your good bacteria. Okay, so you can use this too. Okay, but as I mentioned before, if you don't have uh, the flora, then you cannot just use this. Yeah. Okay, so they have, what has the gut bacteria got to do with obesity, okay, or your fats in the body? Now they have done this experiment. This is what they did. Okay, the probiotics, all this bacteria is found in the gut. So they collect feces, all right, fecal sample, and from the fecal sample, okay, they analyze the kind of bacteria that is found in the feces. Okay, so they collect fecal samples from people who are overweight and fat with big belly, and people who are lean and slender, and they find that the probiotic composition are different. Okay, now, and what happened is they then transfer these probiotics into identical or comparable healthy mouse, and they find that mouse that has been implanted with the probiotics from an obese man also become obese, and then the probiotics, okay, bacterial strain from a lean human will continue to allow the mouse to stay lean and healthy, and other things are controlled. That means how much they eat, everything is controlled, right? Yeah. So sometimes obesity may not be the quantity that you're eating, because this mouse here, they're given the same amount to eat every single day, but yet they still become obese. All right, so this is to show the roles. There are some roles that are played by this type of probiotics in the body. All right, so they help us in terms of the balance of our metabolism. Okay, now we are affected because our probiotics level in the body keep changing, and especially if you have taken antibiotics in your entire life, every time you take antibiotics, do you know how long it takes for it to recover? You see, antibiotics will kill bacteria, and it is indiscriminate, meaning that it will kill the harmful bacteria, it will also kill the good bacteria in the body. So it takes about every, let's say, dose of antibiotics that you're given, it takes your body sometimes several years, 8 to 9 years, to actually recover. You see or not? Okay, yeah. So they found this. Okay, the more antibiotics you take, you see below here, if you're a non-user, they use non-user as the reference point. So the bottom there, you actually see the relative proportion of antibiotics that were taken. So the more antibiotics dosage that is being taken, they find the correlation that the body becomes increasingly fat, okay, becomes easier to accumulate fats. Okay, so which are the strain that is supposed to be healthy strains that keep our body lean? Okay, so lactobacillus strain K21, okay, plantarum. So when you buy or when you take your probiotic supplement, because if you don't have, you cannot use frequencies to vibrate them into existence, okay, to grow for you. So some strains may be lacking. Okay, so you have to check the supplements that you are taking. Okay, yeah, are you having the recommended healthy strains? Okay, by Fido and the lactobacillus. There are many strains. Okay, so certain strains are good. And then your gut has to be clean. So you clean your gut regularly using clean oil, using pure. Okay, so it will increase your bowel movement and therefore make the gut cleaner. Why do you need to have a clean gut? So that the bacteria can stick on the mucus, all right, and they can grow, keep growing, and colonize your gut. So if they stick there, they remain in the gut longer. Okay, otherwise they will all be flushed out together with your fecal matter. Okay, so do regularly replenish your probiotics and then feed your probiotics, your gut bacteria, with prebiotics so that they have food and then they can multiply. Okay, now the gut health and the probiotics here also affects your brain. Okay, your brain function, the hormones that are produced by the brain, and the whole entire, I would say, balance. Okay or not? So if your gut bacteria is imbalanced, not only we accumulate fats easier, it will also affect our brain and our nervous function. Okay, so they find like all this autism, anxiety, depressive behavior, and then leading to mood swings, and then eating, wrong eating habits, etc. Okay, so these are programs that you can use. Okay, so besides the friendly flora to support your brain function, mind wave, recreation, creativity, relax, awareness, these are from mind wave to actually bring down the mental activity. Okay, stress, all right? Stress affect your gut, and then you see all these nerve programs, okay? Because why? It affects all your this nerve, vagus nerve, enteric nervous system, neuroendocrine system. So that's why all these nerves, nerve harmony, balance nerve in job. Okay, this one is under McMakin nerve, McMakin vagus, pure calm in deep cycle, and then the nerve meridian. So all this, all right, so you can harmonize them as well. Okay, so the last part about fatty tissues, I gave you so many programs. Okay, this is lipid edema. Okay, lipid edema. This is a medical condition, and I read up about it. Okay, so for this kind of issues, um, surgery is required. Okay, this type of issues you have to seek doctor's help for all this. Okay or not? Right? So you can still use pure fatty degeneration to support, but basically what I understood is it is not easy to correct this. All right, it requires surgery. Okay, so to summarize everything that we have talked about fat. Now, this is just the first part, fat. Okay, how to burn off the excess fat is, all right, increase cell metabolism. Okay, support your liver, clean up your body, remove the toxins, because why? Many of these toxins, they are fat soluble. If they're water soluble, they would have been removed by the kidney. All right, so if they're fat soluble toxins like heavy metals, they need the fats. So they cling on to the fats, and the body cling on to the fats and refuse to let go, because if they let go, all these toxins is actually going to be released into your blood. Okay, so they have to be a balance of slowly do the detoxification, then the fats will then melt. Okay, yeah. And then the hormones, the whole entire hormonal balance. Okay, so we need all this to be in harmony, to work hand in hand with each other. All right, so it is not as simple as just limiting the amount of food intake, or increasing your exercise, lift weights, etc. You can do all these and still not lose your fats. Okay, yeah, so there is a way that you must follow in order to support all those things that you are doing. Lifestyle is definitely necessary. Okay, so how to actually communicate with your body to turn on fat metabolism? Okay, so one is to increase insulin sensitivity. All right, meaning that to tell the body that bring down the insulin production. Okay, so that even with low amount, okay, your body can still do the work. You don't need high amounts. So if they're high amount, it will tell them to store fats. So we want low insulin. Okay, you want to feel full rather than hungry all the time. You want to have a good balance of good gut bacteria. Okay, thermogenic activation is to trigger and stimulate fat, brown fat metabolism. Okay, and then suppress androgenic suppression is called what? The blood vessels to the fat cells. Okay, so if androgenic means they form lots of blood vessels branching capillary to the fats. Okay, which means that they're delivering a lot of your nutrition to the fats, so they will absorb and then they will store as fats. So androgenic suppression here is to actually bring down the branching, don't supply too much to the fat cells, okay, so that the sugars can go elsewhere. Okay, how many of you want to burn fats with very little effort? Okay, yeah, so I've been doing this, and I'm very pleased with the results. Okay, you're supposed to do 6-18. Okay, and I tell you why 6-18 is more correct. okay, according to my understanding of the meridian cycle. Okay, so I've been doing this and I feel good with this kind of timing. Okay, so here the meridian clock, 7 to 9 in the morning, 7 to 9 in the morning, the stomach is active. 9 to 11, spleen, pancreas, that's where the insulin is produced. 11 to 1 is the heart meridian. 1 to 3 o'clock, the small intestines for absorption. Now, this is the only time that your gut is active, and you look at the rest of the other meridians, the gut is no longer active. Okay or not? So if you want to eat and not get fat, it is to eat within this 6-hour window. After that, no food. And this 6-hour window is either 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. This window. All right, so eat only during this window, which is breakfast, lunch, that's it. And then after that, no more food, only water. Okay, now after the cut off 2 hours, every meridian here is 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You must have a minimum of 12-hour fast in order for the body to turn on fat metabolism. Any period lesser than, that means from your last intake of food, from the last bite that you put into your mouth, you must have 12 hours fast. Then only the body cells will start to signal to burn fats. That means to switch from metabolizing sugars, glycogen to fats. So we have 3 sources of energy. The fastest is the glucose in the blood, then glycogen in the muscle and liver, and then fats in your belly fats, your abdominal, visceral fats. Okay, so they will always use up the glucose first. After glucose, they will use up your glycogen. Okay or not? So if you are eating all the time, you will be constantly using glucose and glycogen as your source of energy. You will never ever turn on fat metabolism. Okay, so a 12-hour fast is not even exercise. Okay, if you ask, can I eat normally and then I just go very, very intensive exercise? No. Even when you exercise, you will still use your glucose first, and then it will use your muscle glycogen and then your liver glycogen. And then after that, you will reach a state that they call you hit the wall. When you hit the wall means that you have muscle fatigue. Okay, you are forced to stop exercising because your legs are so tired, fatigue, cramps that you can't go on anymore. So the body will force you to stop when your glycogen finish or more or less depleted. So it will not touch your fats unless you turn it on. How to turn it on? Vitamin B complex. So what I do is before my exercise, and you don't even need to do very, very strenuous exercise or intensive exercise. It's just walking. Okay, if you take vitamin B before you walk, okay, and you do all the necessary here, okay, I'll tell you that you will be metabolizing fats in your sleep. So you can lose fat while sleeping. Okay, so you need that 12-hour fast. If you follow this timing here, okay, so you see here, bladder, kidney, all that, this is the time where you drink water. So no caffeine. Caffeine will immediately break your fasting. So matcha or MAGHEALY activated water. So during this 12-hour fast here, you can drink as much water as you want. Okay, and then You see, the timing is perfect. After this 12-hour fast, it will be around 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. and that's when what? That's when your liver becomes active. And liver, I keep mentioning, right? Fat metabolism, the liver is the very crucial organ that controls that. You see or not? So at the end of your 12 hour, it falls nicely to the activation of your liver between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. And that's the time when you're sleeping. So imagine that, all right, that you would turn on fat metabolism from 1 a.m. onwards. Okay, so 2 a.m., 7 a.m. when you wake up, let's say you wake up at 6 or 7 a.m., clear your bowels, do all the detoxing. So at night, when the body is doing the liver is basically your blood detox, your lungs detox, your large intestine detox. Detox is very energy intensive. So this is the time where they will use your fats to do all the detoxing for you. Okay, so around 7 before your breakfast at 8, for example, you go for a walk. And when you are doing your walk, your body, this is before breakfast, so still no input of food. So you will still be burning your fats while you are doing your walking or exercising in the gym or whatsoever. Okay, so it will be continue to use your fats while you're exercising. Okay or not? So when you finish your exercise, 8 a.m. you can eat your breakfast followed by lunch. Okay, so you can eat full, you can limit. Okay, let's say it depends on how much of fats you want to lose because each one of us have different target. Okay, so the duration, how long do you have to follow this? If it can become your daily habit, so be it. Okay, if not, you can do for 1 month and then see the progress that you are making. All right, you can see changes taking place in terms of your scale, the numbers. You can feel, I feel alert, very, very alert. Do I feel hungry? The 12-hour fast sounds like a lot, right? No, the hunger is only a little bit somewhere around 7 to 9. Okay, if I work, basically I get distracted. Okay, it is not like super hungry like when I do 3 days of water fasting, then you know you can feel actually quite hungry. But this one is not because every day you're still eating, but your intake of food is only at a certain period of time. Okay, then after that, no solid food. Okay, so either you fool your body or the body fools you when it sends the hunger signal, right? When it sends the hunger signal, you say, oh no, my body is hungry. Then you go and eat. Okay, you spoil everything. All right, it will go back to consuming your glucose and your glycogen. So it will not touch your fats again. All right, so you fool your body when it sends you the hunger signal during the later part of that day. Ignore it, go and do your work, drink water. Okay, you just let it pass. After that, you'll feel okay. So then the body will feel that, oh no, oh no, oh no, no food is coming. All right, so it will then only send the signal, let's use the reserves. Then only your fat reserves will be mobilized. Okay, all right, so try this. This is called the 6-18. Okay, you can research, you can read about it. There are quite a lot of articles now that is talking about 6-18, okay, or even a longer period beyond 18, even 20-hour fast, etc. Okay, that depends on you. Okay, how disciplined you are. Okay, so do it for a month because in 1 month it will do a lot more adjustment, and then from there you will get the hang of it, okay, as you press on. Okay, so food, do you have to control your diet? You can eat any amount that you want, okay. In moderation, you can cut down on carbohydrates, and these are the food that they said is good. Okay, eggs, good oils, coconut oil, olive oil, walnut, um, full fat Greek yogurt, wild salmon, chicken, fish. These are your proteins. That means you eat more proteins, cut down on your carbo, okay. And then your greens, cruciferous, which is broccoli, that family, and then beans, lentils, chickpeas, etc. Okay, the list is up to you. How much you want to eat is up to you, okay. But eat within that 6 hour window between 7 a.m. to 1 or 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's it. After that, no food, just water. Okay, now next part is for those who look big. Okay, partly some fats, but sometimes a lot of water, especially after medication, yeah. Then you have this. Okay, so remove how to when there is water retention, yeah, you will see, especially it's very clear, and it happens very common on your feet because it's anti-gravity, so the water get pulled to the feet and then it's unable to flow upwards. Yeah, so water retention, especially for those who are taking long-term medication. Okay, so let's say if you are taking like beta blockers, okay, or you have a weak heart, aging as you age, or you have had a heart condition, heart issues before, and your heart is weak and not able to propel your blood and your lymphatic fluids, etc. So it leads to water retention. Okay, so besides just depending on medication, use all this to support your heart. Okay, support your heart so that your heart can pump harder, stronger, okay, and improve your circulation so that your lymphatic fluid, your blood will not be stagnant at the limbs, at the extremities. All right, so these are the programs that you can use, okay, to support your heart, your blood circulation. Okay, now inactive lifestyle, either by choice or for those who are bedridden, for those who are on wheelchair, so who cannot move very much. So what happens is for the legs, for all these legs, it is the calf muscles, okay, the lower leg, the muscles, when you walk, it will actually do this motion here. All right, it will bulge, and then it will straighten, it will bulge, and then it will stretch and bulge and stretch. So this movement, right, will press against your blood vessels and then help to propel the blood against gravity up and back to your heart again. Okay, so you can use muscle harmony, okay, for those who are not able to move very much, or you can mechanically move their feet if they are bedridden, help them to do simple stretches and all that to promote muscle action and blood circulation. If you see varicose veins, especially those very thick types, these are all because of water retention. Okay, so you have to support your kidney, because the kidney is the one that is filtering all this excess fluid from the blood, okay or not. And then sometimes it will reabsorb back too much because of the imbalance of the ADH, too much ADH, yeah. Okay, so it leads to water retention. Now the liver here, why do I put liver? Water retention can be because of too much glucose, too much salt, too much blood proteins will also cause the water to to act like a sponge and then collect a lot of water. Okay, so then the blood cannot flow freely, then you have all these water retention issues. So you can feel it in the thigh region, you can feel it on the lower legs, you can feel it on the arm. You know, you can see people with huge, heavy, you know, very heavy arms. Yeah, so it's all water. The body is damp, DAMP. Lymph edema, this is after surgery. Okay, so when it cut, so there are blockages, all that, leading to accumulation of lymphatic fluids, so you can support your lymphatic system. Okay, other medications, if you take painkillers, certain painkillers, non-steroidal or steroidal type of painkillers, anti-inflammatory drugs, whether for toothache, for joint pains, gout, back pain, skin allergy, etc. So besides being so overly dependent on this kind of drugs, these are the programs that you can use to manage and relieve your pain. Okay, so use Healy programs more to bring down your pain, repair your joints, rather than dependent on painkillers all the time. All right, so oral contraceptive that is rich in estrogen can also cause bloating because of water retention. All right, but this is your personal choice when it comes to contraceptives. Okay, so menopausal women or post-menopausal women, all right, so these are the ones who I've heard where say, oh, I just breathe air and I'm bloating like balloon. Okay, it's because of fluid retention. You know, some of them like eating very little, they said that I still look so big. Okay, so it's because of the imbalance of the hormone. Okay, if your progesterone is too low, okay, you find that, hey, why am I drinking so much water and I urinate so little? Too little progesterone, too much anti-diuretic. Okay, so it accumulate all this fluid. Okay, so you can use this kind of programs here to balance up your estrogen and your progesterone. Okay, okay, besides not having enough of the thyroid hormones to stimulate burning of the fats, there is another side effect, which is water retention. Okay or not? Yeah, so it will increase anti-diuretic hormone, okay, which actually stimulate the kidney to the bladder to reabsorb back a lot of water. Okay or not? So as a result, you get water retention. Okay, so how do you know whether your water retention? You look at your arms, it's hard, okay, because of the water. So it's not soft when you press on your muscles. Yeah, okay, so that's water retention, hard. So you can use this program, weight, hormonal balance, takes care of the balance of all the hormones in the body. So this is meridian. Then you, under harmony, you have hormone as well. And then in harmony, you have thyroid. Under digital nutrition, you also have thyroid. So when you do your analysis, 5x5 analysis, and then you will see which are the programs that come out for you. So those are the ones you use. Okay, so overall, support your kidneys, support your heart and the circulation, support your liver, lymphatic vessels, and this kind of endocrine glands, okay, for water balance. Okay, now we come to the last segment, which is stress, chronic stress, okay, and trauma. One of the example that was given to me was this person said she was skinny, you know, she's not like medium build. She said that she is very skinny and then she became big, literally like what I show you here. Okay, and that was because of abuse, you know. So sometimes they went through they're being bullied, physical abuse, sexual abuse, harassment, especially at young age. Okay, they cannot cope with the psychological stress, no one to turn to. Okay, it can cause cortisol or stress dysregulation. Sometimes it's also psychological because they believe that they're being bullied because they're small. Okay, they are being sexually abused, molested when they are young because they are too attractive, too beautiful. So psychologically, they will want to be ugly. Okay, they want to be big, so they look at the bully. Okay, if I'm bigger than you, do you think you'll bully me? So what happened is it goes into the subconscious, and then the subconscious will manifest whatever that they think. Not just they think, because the emotion was so strong. They detest the bullies. Okay, they detest the sexual offenders. So the emotion plus the thought, it becomes very powerful manifestation, and they grow big over time. Okay, yeah. So it can happen. All right. Now, the less severe kind will be stress eating. All right. You feel hungry, you feel like snacking. So, therefore, you will just keep on eating. And as a result, over time, okay, it becomes a habit, etc. So, instead of turning to or succumbing to all these uh, signals from the body, you can use soul cycle, you can use conflict balance, power of three programs. For MAGHEALY, you can use the emotions, thalamus, vagus to actually bring down and your trauma, okay, your mood swings, okay, your negative emotions. All right, so by releasing all this that are actually trapped in your subconscious and controlling your eating behavior, controlling your metabolism through all the imbalance in hormonal distribution, okay, so it's causing the body to go haywire. Okay, so we use all this, all these programs to balance. Okay, so those who, because of their trauma and their negative emotions, if you are taking antidepressants, certain antidepressants will cause water retention as well. Some antidepressants also cause bloating. That means this air, gas bloating, and then you see the belly distension, all right, or constipation, compaction of the fecal matter, so therefore you can't pass out, so you see the bloating in the abdomen. So it may not be fats, okay, it can be just gas and lots of impacted fecal matter, etc. Okay, because you're holding on, cannot let go. Okay, so instead of depending long term on all these antidepressants and drugs, you can gradually wean yourself off by using Healy programs to support all these areas of your life. Okay, I'm not saying that you immediately take yourself off any of these long-term drugs. No, only the doctors can tell you to remove or stop the drugs. You don't. But day by day, you just faithfully use the Healy and the MAGHEALY programs to support your body. Okay, don't be impatient. Okay, just do it, and then just wait for the cells and the body to work things out for you. Okay, so yeah, so these are the programs. Mackin has a lot of programs here. Then you have the classic, then job positive thoughts, and then under stimulation you have the depression and anxiety. Okay, and then for those with negative emotions, grief, trauma, relationship issues, you know, instead of hanging on to all this, okay, there are ways to actually release and let go through all these programs in the resonance database in the Healy Blue app. So you may not have all of this, whichever that you have, scan all of them, look at the list. So if the list has anything that is 60% or higher, that is the list that you vibrate. Okay or not? Whether it's short or long duration depends on your situation. If your condition is severe, you may need 4 hours or even 9 hours kind of stimulation to stay balanced, okay, at your uh, emotional level. Okay, so you have to use your own judgment for that. Now, the aura, okay, your chakra, which chakra is blocked, why are you eating unhealthily, you can also find out through the aura. Have you seen any of this? Okay, yeah, so safety is experienced through food, or security is experienced through food. Okay, meaning what? When you eat, when you snack, okay, it's not that you're hungry, you know, you just feel like eating because you feel safe, you feel secure when you are eating. Okay, then sacral chakra, blockage in sacral chakra, or when you have issues related to the sacral chakra, you will tend to eat. Okay, and these are usually a lot of relationship issues, husband wife issues, parent child issues, okay, all related to sacral chakra. Okay or not? So when you are balanced, right, you see, when your sacral chakra is balanced, okay, the person has clear contact to their physical needs, okay, he give his body food, drink, exercise, rest, activity, oxygen, everything in moderation. Okay or not? Yeah, so you will, this side here, you see, appetite is respected as a signal from the body is provided with the food it needs. So when your chakra is harmonious, you will not overeat. Okay, you will give what the body needs in a very balanced way. And yeah, so you eat for the sake of living, okay, not live for the sake of eating. Okay, so some of us are like that, huh? So when you are balanced, you eat to live. When you are imbalanced, you live to eat. So you just keep chomping, chomping, chomping. Okay, positive and negative values. So Pallavi asks, negative means that this is your subconscious, all right, and this is your life theme, D 100,000 here, this is your life theme. That means it is part of your lifestyle. Okay, that means this is a very balanced person who eat to live. Okay or not? Yeah, so here the person do not his food intake is balanced. Do not eat too much or too little. Okay, so when you're balanced, you will not indulge in food. Okay, you will eat, look at food, and then just see them as food. You won't see them as, wow, this is, you know, just enjoy eating. Yeah. Okay, you can enjoy eating, but you must be able to tell your body to burn them off. Okay, yeah, and not become helpless. You know, now you love food, you like to eat, and then after that your body suffers because it stores in your body, and then you do not know how to turn on the fat metabolism. So now that you know, then once you, okay, so what I tell you is, once you balance to your normal weight, then you can have a little bit more leeway to be naughty and eat a little bit more. Okay, yeah, but before that, balance it first. Yeah, so other causes, lack of sleep. So if you keep over a long period, extended period of time not sleeping well, you can also gain weight through that. So support your sleep through all these programs. So earlier I've already had one full session on sleep, so go and refer to the sleep session to see what are all the programs and how are you actually affected by your sleep. There's so many factors. Yeah, and then yeah, impacted poop, okay, not able to clear your bowel, gas, bloating, all this, okay. Yeah, so use all this large intestine, and then use lung, kidney. Why kidney? Because kidney provides you with the energy. So certain people, especially as aging, people who are aging or seniors, they don't have the strength or the energy to push the fecal matter out, is because you need to strengthen their kidney and their lungs, okay, so that they are able to push. Yeah. Okay, so pure works like magic. Okay, use pure one or two times depending on your severity, and then use the large intestine, and also use the friendly flora, or use the probiotic supplements to help you as well. Okay, yeah, so painkiller medicines that cause all these gases and constipation, use all this relaxation, use all these painkillers instead of, use the frequency painkillers, okay, instead of the medications, all right. Okay, underweight, those who wants to gain weight. So for seniors, you lose the muscle mass, all right, and yeah, and have difficulty gaining weight. So to gain weight, you have to put back the muscle. Okay, so new cells, you got to grow new cells. So to grow new cells, that means increase the number of cells, you will use vitalization. You can use regeneration 1, 2, 3, and then you can use the whole entire protocol, or you can focus on youth and cell. Okay, youth and cell, that means in general every part of your body if you are severely losing weight. Cell care, okay, cell care, that means take care of all your cells, and then give energy to your cell. This bioenergy is like electricity, you know or not? So like your house, if you don't have electricity, then all your air conditioning, your washing machine, your television, your computer is all going to be useless. Okay or not? The cells cannot do anything if we do not provide energy. So to provide the energy will be all the 7 chakras that you see below. Do all 7. Put in the energy. Turn on the energy switch. Okay, the meridians, the 12 meridians here is for distribution. You can either use Healy meridians or MAGHEALY meridians. Okay, this is to distribute the energy to all the cells. Okay, and then nutrition. Okay, it's not because you are not eating. I've seen people who are very slender and thin and they eat a lot. It's just that their metabolic rate is either very, very, very high, or they are not absorbing. Okay, now? So if they can't absorb, then you will need to use digital nutrition to support. All right. So which one? Aging. For people who are aging, use age. This is, I think, digital nutrition 2. Amino acids is for the proteins. There's weight here. And then blood, you need more blood because it carries the oxygen and the nutrients. And then minerals, vitamin intake. Okay, so these are the basic components that the body need. Or you can use in terms of function. Sometimes you get children. Okay, have you ever get children or growth before? Okay, if you get children, children needs to grow, right? Yeah, so they grow in height, they grow in weight, so it's for muscle and bones. So children, okay, or growth. So you can use this, or energy, and then muscles. So for those who are skinny, build muscle weight. Build muscle weight. Okay, so muscle harmony, muscle strength, muscle stamina, muscle regeneration. Use this to build the muscles. Okay, yeah. Okay, now The last part is your body constitution. Okay, so sometimes when you get power of 3, you see whether you get Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. Okay, so these 3 here is talking about your body constitution. All right, so sometimes if that is your body constitution, no matter what you do, you can't shift too much. Okay or not? So you have to try to balance it. So Vata type of body are those who are small built, very light, dry. The body is dry and skinny. Pitta is medium built with some water retention, all right, especially at the thigh hip area, damp, okay, a little bit of fats. Kapha, large, heavy, so you're fat and wet, means you have fatty tissues and you also have water retention, okay, yeah. So use the power of 3. Okay, see which one comes out and then you use accordingly to balance your body constitution type. Okay, yeah, so one look you basically know. Vata are those where the body shape is straight one, like the letter H, like that, straight, very, very straight. Okay, Pitta is where you have the man, inverted triangle top, and then the women is more hourglass, more curvy. Okay, Kapha are those where your body is more rounded for the men, and then more pear shape, okay, for the women, or can be apple shape or it can be pear shape, okay, either way. So balance it, okay, balance it. All right, so you can use electrodes, you can use coil, or you can use the electromagnetic waves, high wave, to deliver frequencies to your body. All right, so I hope the session has been useful to you. And another way to actually show your gratitude to Marcus and to Healy World is to actually do what? Share. Share with the people around you about Healy and about MAGHEALY. That this sharing that I'm doing with you today is for education. All right, it's based on my personal experience. So therefore, as you listen and as you listen to your body. All right, the feedback that is given by the body to you, use your own discretion and judgment to make changes, a bit of tweaking to make it more suitable for your body type. Okay. And Healy and MAGHEALY, they are not medical devices. They are meant to support us in harmonizing and balancing our bioenergetic field. All right, so therefore, it is not intended to cure, treat, mitigate, or diagnose or prevent any medical issues. So, should you suspect or felt uneasy, discomfort for a long period of time, you should always seek medical advice. All right, but we use Healy and MAGHEALY to support so that we get the best and fastest effect from our conventional treatment. I'm Christi Wong from Singapore. I am an energetic profiling coach since 2017, and now I just use the Healy and the MAGHEALY profiling reports to analyze and check what is the condition of a person. Okay, and my background is in counseling, and I am an A-level biology educator, and I have done wellness education for many years now. All right, so I've used Healy since 2020. All right, but prior to that, I used the much bigger machine, the older version, so for more than 8 years now. And with the collective knowledge, I've put together 5 books that will cover all the modules: the pink app, the blue app, resonance, coach, aura, okay, to teach people how to use and maximize this amazing, wonderful device.